Hey guys, welcome back to World End Economica, and I finished up eating my burrito before looking at my display. Avalon. As of right then, I stood against him, but if Barton truly was involved, no magic he could cast on it would surprise me. Off to Avalon, it seems. Avalon's headquarters. It was a 15-minute walk from Newton City Central Station. That was simply 15 minutes calculated by a real estate agency, and how it has appeared on a map. Central Station on Sunday afternoon was murderously crowded. After taking breaks or Chris when she got winded or didn't feel well, it came out more like an hour. I remember there was a news article about faint-hearted tourists who went up into panic and caused a commotion. One who hyperventilated, right? Saying that with all the people here, the oxygen will run out. Not someone to mess with. I'm sorry. Chris shoved a little canister of natural Lunarian water written on it, and placed it in a bag. Terry used primarily plastic bottles as they ran on crude oil. There was no crude oil on the moon. All drinks and food were sold in steel cans or bottles. Both iron from a raw material for glass and silicon could be harvested from the moon. It was possible to recycle them indefinitely, as long as they had solar energy. But I heard that with the increase of electricity lately, there wasn't much difference between that and importing them via space elevator. Perhaps eventually the steel mugs were gone and replaced with man-made plastic goods. The increase in energy prices affected various aspects of the lunar surface. It was probably because of that. It becomes something more of a circus in front of Avalon's headquarters. Knock down the corporations hoarding all electricity. Corporations need to be held accountable. Electricity for people, the sun for the moon. In front of Avalon's headquarter complex, a 92-story structure brazenly named New World Gate, at a distinction of being the moon's third tallest building, a crowd of people holded picket signs while screaming out. The group was made up somewhere between 30 and 50 people in clothes of colourful river greens. The sort I saw often in front of a government branch office. Must have been a common occurrence, as there were no cops on hand. Instead, a few bored-looking guards surrounded the group. Passersby seemed more interested in the spectacle than the message. They caught everything on camera, since it was the sort of thing they'd usually only saw on TV. Where's reception? If you're going to the main gate, it's near the 32nd entrance. Or you might get lost. How are we on time? There's directions, look. Chris appeared a bit uneasy, but saw a sign made of glass and a steel turquoise material reading Avalon Enterprises Seminar Hall, partway into the main gate. Next to a hologram display was a deliberately retro-designed android, bowing ridiculously. We express our deepest gratitude that you joined us today. Please proceed down this corridor to the right. Directions were given out in a synthesized voice, seemingly intentionally, but this had Chris smiling gleefully. He says his name is Arb. Chris said that as he walked down the corridor side by side. Arb? Arborial? Like the wooded island of Avalon. It might be for arbitrage. Say the same goods are sold in store A for 100 moles, and store B for 120. If you were to buy from A and sell at B, then you'd profit with no risk. Traders specialised in that type of action were arbitrageurs. ARBs for short. It was a suitor company that founded the electricity trade market. It sure is an amazing courtyard though. You're right, it's almost like it isn't Newton City at all. You're right actually, it looks really, really nice outside. There are hills, ponds, and even falls of this wide courtyard down the path we walked, and the large headquarters of the complex could be seen past that. The path gently curved to the left, and there appeared to be a fan-shaped courtyard in front of the headquarter complex. And the way the courtyard was set up, including the path we were on, so the courtyard appeared to be as divided when looking towards it. Avalon was founded 12 years ago, apparently. She said that while looking out into the courtyard. In 12 years, a little company starting on the second floor of a delivery pizza service has become this big. It's amazing. She spoke looking into a distance dreamingly. That said, it wouldn't be hard to imagine the scenery before her being part of the dreamscape. On Terra, I heard that cows double in weight every 10 days. What? That would mean they weigh half a ton in 100 days. If I was getting that big that fast, then the company should grow faster than that. And money should multiply faster still. That's rather amazing. You're probably going about the same sort of speed yourself. She made a face at me when I said that, as if I'd insulted her. Then gave me a wry smile. It's hard to tell numerically. Lisa gets angry at me at times though. Says I need to understand the repercussions of my actions. I've come to realise that my conversations with you and Hagana. Is that so? Yeah. Remember how I told you how much was made of the money I got from your family? Hagana said, we can buy new shoes out of money, and you just froze. Now you mention it, that did happen. It happened 4 years ago. Could you see how frightening growth is? Chris was offended when I countered that, unable to entirely hold back a nervous smile. I still say pouty Chris is adorable. Selling a whole bag of stuff with goods earned 17 moles a day. 70 moles? That probably wouldn't even cover a day of an Arb's electricity bill. Oh. She turned back to her hallway, looked a bit surprised. Yes, that is likely true. For that 17 moles, you'd be able to eat at Reese's home cooking for about 3 days. She looked idly into a courtyard and spoke. It's like a different world. The end of a corridor just came into view, and it appeared to enter a plaza. There were talks of children, seemed to be what was like a tour group. An office person in a sharp suit approached Chris and me wearing that sort of brimming smile one would expect of an Avalon employee. Welcome. Will you be participating in our company's seminar? Oh yes. May I ask your attendance authentication? Chris showed around the terminal. They loaded a seminar schedule onto a terminal. They had bookings for anyone who wanted them, so all guests from Terra taking a tour were at paper pamphlets. You'll be escorted shortly, so please wait a moment. With one last smile, they left the same deference and notice from employees at Central Hotel. The little plaza had a domed ceiling with mechanical birds cycling as they chirped. The temperature control was also well managed, making even this inefficient area warm. It truly is a different world. Just a moment of that, a bell chimed, signalling the start of a company seminar. Avalon began as a small energy brokerage firm, started by our current CEO, Karen Leaf. Employees began proceeding out front as they opened. It appeared to be designed for that. There seemed to be somewhat of a distance to cover, so an employee, seeing when I walked on a cane, offered a wheelchair. I felt I didn't really need it, but Chris also suggested I use it, so I'd end up borrowing one. So Chris was now looming over my head, smirking. It turned out she wanted to push me around. And this was the actual building. The crowd let out an electric gasp of awe. An image of a rather shabby looking building was shown. A three-story building like this could be seen everywhere in the outer district. It even had one of those character figures setting up all properly with a pizza place. Current Leaf, quick opportunity-grabbing methodology. Deregulation of Lunar City government, rise in energy demand, huge investments in infrastructure. Matching all these together, for a time not even able to buy pizza from a pizzeria, now owns this cutting-edge corporate headquarters. The guide motion behind them towards a shining glass windowed skyscraper. The stark comparison made one feel like it was somewhat magical. And exactly how did Kevin Leaf make Avalon such a large company? We explain that by going every department within the company in order. First is the energy brokerage firm. The tried and true system is still in place. Even without going through a market, it has connections to various industries wishing to offer fair, long-term rates and long-term contracts for supplying. There is an especially boring floor which probably created like this for guide purposes. There were a few regulations left over back then, which is why there was a few energy generation stations. Energy generation, transmission and supply workers all scattered around on their own. Wasn't that rather inefficient? Rather, Kevin used his own two legs to gather information. Based on that, he was able to bring efficiency to the people. It's like one of those stories back down in Terra. The audience burst into laughter. Terra crippled at a snail's pace by regulations and gravity. The moon moving freely and efficiently. After that, Kevin applied himself to the energy transmission industry. Head up to the 5th floor inside a giant glass elevator. Looking up, we saw fountains and ferns spread about it. looking more like a shopping mall than a place of work. Energy and transmission companies at the time either had lines connecting from Area A to Area B, transmit energy, or were able to send energy anywhere within sea. It's a fairly odd setup. Everyone profited still though, so things remained. So loads and loads of pylons, and Mr. Moneybags in the centre with his money. But Kevin, being a go-getter, realised that what was needed was the ability to send energy from ward A to B and B to C where it was needed the most. Then after collecting all that data on his own steam, putting even the real estate industry to shame, he was able to figure out which groups were most profitable. On the floor labelled Energy Transmission Department was a model of mesh transmission cables. There was one bit glowing golden, there was a small figure meant to represent Kevin, and a glowing more sign. The combination works, you put pressure on the energy generators, it comes down to it. However, this was where regulations got in the way. A collective groan resounded. The audience, now enamoured by Kevin, the go-getter, ridiculed the stupid government shutting him out. Regulations stated the energy transmission, production and sale should not occur simultaneously within one company. Was being created so Emerald Industries couldn't monopolise lunar surface. But it's a thing of the past where a single company could monopolise the ever-expanding lunar surface. There were many shortcomings even then. They couldn't cope with peak hours. That's when Kevin the go-getter, now a full-fledged industrialist, went right into those dozing bureaucrats to give him a swift kick in the rear. Our elevator began going up again, and its unusually slow pace as we passed the floors labelled Legal Department and Regulations Department. Then another Kevin figure came out flying from a pillar, sporting the elevator shaft, bearing the text of red, "Knock out those stupid regulations!" If you guys keep up with some inefficient nonsense, the cost of energy on the moon are going to burst through the dome and fly away down to terror. That was the logic Kevin used to wake him up and get him to appeal for regulation. Nice. This is from another of the Terran tourists. I looked over at Chris, she was giggling like she was being tickled. Then, after regulation was appealed, Kevin, as an energy producer, went on to create the greatest energy company on the moon. When we arrived at the floor labelled Energy Production Department, the elevator stopped. We'd already gone up quite a way, so when I looked beyond the water glass, I got a bird's eye view of what I expected to see before a Royal Central Hotel suite. Yes, would you like to look at the ceiling behind you? That's the outlook Kevin had from that point on. The guide said that, imploring the audience to turn my vision to the scenery. Probably because I was looking at it. I couldn't stop myself from letting out a sigh of admiration of the edge of the dome we've seen from here. Remembering that was cold, mysterious, outer space. But Kevin the go-getter didn't stop there. He looked back at everything at this point. He realised what he'd really ended up gaining was the ability to help supply every home, workplace and construction site with electricity. That's where Kevin thought down the line. I was able to make things more efficient, but there's a limit. What should I do next? Make a stock market. The guide pointed and smiled broadly in response to a shout from one of the tourists. Exactly. Look at petroleum and stocks. Because everyone contributes their wisdom to that complicated market, it's able to be efficient. So that's where Kevin set his sights. The guide took us down a corridor that appeared to be an open ceiling terrace, continuing up from the first floor. Chris tapped my shoulder as I looked onto a future. It was written on the wall as a Kevin doll wearing a full smile pressed onwards. But building up such business infrastructure was no small feat. Everyone, try imagining this. A shared living room or company break room. It's easy to understand things are more efficient living and working when it's clean, but nobody wants to clean it themselves. To make people work like that, you need to shout, "Get cleaning!" The guide's voice echoed, emphasising the emptiness of a company building in a weekend. But people don't see the others while they're working. For one, there wasn't even an energy stock market. Creating a market requires lots of funds, especially since the energy being sold to others needs to be retransmitted over to them. It's not like you can just pack it up in a cardboard box, send it over. You needed to buy a lot of power grids. You also needed the brains to make an enormous complicated system. Normally each of those would be a huge undertaking by separate companies. It'd take many years to build up. But did Kevin give up then? No, of course not. As if by fate, two collaborators appeared before Kevin. The guide stopped and looked back. There was yet another elevator there, flanked by two guards standing with arms crossed. I noticed it instantly. There were 3 doors on the silver elevator entrance. One of a blonde youth, one of a man in his 50s, with a grave gold shower, a CFO investor involved in numerous industries, financial affairs on Terra. Jeremy Botsman, a man who considered himself the greatest stock trader at a time where Pope himself denounced the moon for its greed. According to Eleanor, one of those was Barton, but that doll looked nothing like him. Herbert Goldshower has always been on Terra though. Someone brought it up. Yes, that's correct. Goldshower is a medical condition and cannot raid a space elevator. He's become acquainted with Kevin when Kevin was canvassing capital on Terra. Being impressed with that, he said, I bet we could even make it onto Jupiter, and volunteered to be the CFO. Then, after reproducing an immense sum of around 15 billion Moors, he was indoctrinated into Kevin's dream. It's probably for large-scale power grids to purchase so they could shut out Emerald Industries prior to the creation of the energy stock market exchange. They were taking debt up to 3 times in proportion, but my estimate it would have been about 10 times their current debt. A forcefully overpowering technique. An overpowering technique with purpose and conviction. An appropriate play. That enormous amount of 15 billion was capital raised by Barton. He had the tools, stage was set, but he didn't have the hands to use them. Without just floating in at the time, was a young genius said to have an IQ of 230, Jeremy Botsman. He had recreated Kevin's dream within a computer, and then the guide paused, bringing up the security guard, so they inputted something on a panel, and the elevator door opened. Plastered on the wall wasn't glass but steel. It's almost as if it was set up for a surprise attack. Ha, more burly than you expected. Still, this is the elevator that connects to a hardware company. Avalon. Needs to be sturdy. The guide knocked on the wall with a clang. The elevator suddenly jolted upwards. When the door opened, everyone gasped. Dreams at the heart of Avalon. And a super efficient exchange where anyone can buy and sell freely on the moon. Kevin's dream. It's the heart of Avalon. Exiting the elevator, we came to a wall of an enormous hall. It's probably about 3 stories high. You can probably tell that by the fact there's a single floor you can see in the middle there. Can't really point it out because my mouse is hidden. You can see me highlighting things though, it seems, which is always fun. Look, I'm moving my mouse. So above this, you can see the 3 stories. Machines for trading were at the very centre of it, like the yolk of an egg. There were rows of desks facing each other, so many that merely counting them would be arduous. Let's try that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So at least 14 rows of 8. So these are 120. Is that 120? 112. At least 112, unless they're back to back. It was majestic. Majestic to a point of being peculiar, in fact. Even though it was a weekend, there were people here, likely because there was no weekend in the energy stock market, costing more per cubic metre than anywhere else in the world. A young man with his dress shirt sleeve rolled up, biting his pen as he glared at his display. How much did he make? Definitely 1 or 2 million. We had a bird's eye view of this entire scene. On the other end of this wall was a wall of gas. The view from the third richest spot on the moon was spread out before us. Avalon. The door to a different world. Just at that moment, cheers could be heard. Over there! I screamed someone in the crowd as he followed his gaze. I saw a small crowd of men slapping each other on the shoulders. The guard received some sort of communication on their tablet and spoke. Just now, the efforts of a team took a long position on what others thought was a irrational price paid off. Profits around 23 million Moors. They'll probably be drinking themselves under a table with champagne today. Was that statement true or not? I wasn't certain if profits over that margin had to come up frequently. With trading rooms certainly wouldn't be sustainable. And our Kevin's office is over there, farther up on the top portion. He looked down on everything from up there, so from time to time he urges his fervent traders from above. Guy pointing out to a spot much like one of those special boxes seats at races. Energy stocks are what was primarily traded here, but there are various other trading things taking place. Approximately 1800 brands, amongst them is an odd example of a weather derivative. resting in a security based on how much it will rain next year. Essentially what's being bought and sold. Probably a good point to end it here, actually. I don't know if it's a good point or not, but I'm going to end it here anyway. As ever, thank you very much for watching. My name has been Fudce. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.